Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Sara.
And I'm Nate, and you're watching SaraNate. Today we are ranking Disney's unofficial princesses. And Sara, just because they're unofficial, it doesn't mean that they're not important.
Or that we don't love them just the same as the official princesses.
I think it's just because they can't market them the same way, for the most part, and make money off them, but hey.
That's definitely it.
We are ranking these princesses based on how iconic they are.
What feats they accomplished during their movie.
And how likable they are. This is Disney animated movies only.
No live action, no sequels, no prequels, no Pixar.
If you don't see your favorite Disney unofficial princess on our list, drop us a comment down below and tell us who's your favorite. Let's hop into the list.
Let's do it.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to SaraNate and hit that bell button so you never miss a new episode. First off, we have Alice from Alice in Wonderland.
We first see her as she's daydreaming, even though she's supposed to be listening to her history lesson.
She then sees the White Rabbit, who is late for a very important date, and she chases him down the rabbit hole.
Into Wonderland.
And we essentially follow Alice on what seems to be some sort of LSD trip or tripping to some extent. She runs into all these characters.
Tweedledee.
Tweedledum. The Cheshire Cat. And of course the Queen of Hearts and all her little henchmen. Alice begins to grow homesick. Like, yo, I just want to do my history lesson at this point.
And she's eventually sentenced to getting her head chopped off like everybody else. And so she runs away and she finds herself sleeping through the keyhole of the door. She wakes herself up and then she's back in the regular world and she's all like, oh, thank goodness.
I gotta give Alice like a C.
I think that's appropriate.
Next up, we have Wendy Darling from Peter
Peter
Pan.
Pan.
Wendy is the older sister of Michael and John Darling. They're just living their lives in London when all of a sudden Peter Pan comes flying in the room at night.
With Tinkerbell.
With Tinkerbell. Because Peter kind of takes a liking to Wendy, Tinkerbell is kind of like her rival in a sense, and she does try to kill her in one scene when she almost hits the rocks. Ooh. Michael and John are having the time of their lives with Peter and the Lost Boys. Wendy, on the other hand, Sara, is having a different kind of experience because of her responsibility that she feels like she needs to take on this kind of role of an older sister slash like a mother.
Hen.
Captain Hook captures them. Hook and Pan have an epic duel, which you can check out the video that we've dropped about epic battles. And after the battle, Wendy and the boys fly off back to London. Oh, fun fact, Sara, the voice of Alice from Alice in Wonderland is also the voice of Wendy in Peter Pan, and that is the talented Catherine Beaumont.
Miss Beaumont, wonderful job.
I gotta give her a C right next to herself, kind of. Next up, we have Maid Marian from Robin Hood. We first see Maid Marian when she's playing badminton with
Lady Cluck. She's nice to all the kids and invites them into play. She tells them how she used to be Robin Hood's childhood sweetheart, and they're all like, ooh, wow.
Tell us more. She runs into Robin Hood at the archery tournament where he's dressed up like the stork, and they kind of like rekindle a little. Robin Hood is eventually unmasked at the tournament, and then he's sentenced to death by Prince John.
What?
And then Little John.
What again?
Helps break him out. They save Maid Marian when all the henchmen are chasing after them, and at the end of the day, they end up getting married and they live happily ever after. I would give her a D.
Yeah, I would too.
Next up, we have Princess Elanwi from The Black Cauldron. We first see Princess Elanwi when she kind of just pops up through this little stone.
She raises the roof through the stone.
Well, she raises
thing.
the floor. She sees Tarzan all like chained up, and she's like, yo, I was actually taken hostage by the Horned King as well, bro. So you're not just in this thing by yourself.
Why don't we figure out how to escape together?
And they happen to come across what the Horned King's plan is to, use the Black Cauldron and summon all these Cauldron-born and take over the world. So they're like, yo, we need to find this mystic sword to destroy the cauldron before the Horned King does. and then we can, go about our lives.
They end up finding the cauldron from some little brood of witches that are living out in the forest. The witches are like, yeah, we'll give you the cauldron, but you have to give us that magical sword. The Horned King still inevitably gets the cauldron, captures everybody again.
Tarzan eventually overthrows the Horned King. Then him and Ellen, we finally get a little... I would have to put her right in the C range.
I agree with that.
Because she does a little bit more than Maid Marian, but middle of the pack.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Nala from The Lion King. We first see Nala when her and Simba lie to their mothers about going to the elephant graveyard.
Oh no.
About going to the elephant graveyard to prove how brave they are.
Then the next time we see her is when she's hunting Pumbaa, and then Simba tries to save Pumbaa, so her and Nala get in a fight. They don't know that it's each other yet. And then she pins him when they're fighting, and he's like, Nala?
And of course they're adults at this time, and they have some hormones and
Ew.
things that they want to explore, and all I have to say is, can you feel the love tonight, Sarah? Nala then confesses to Simba, the Pride Lands where you grew up, Simba, well, they're not very prideful anymore.
They're barren lands. In the Battle of Pride Rock, Nala is not afraid to get her paws dirty and kill some freaking hyenas to get the land back.
And then in the very final scene of the movie, you can see Nala right next to King Simba at this point, holding up a new baby. I think we finally have a princess here that isn't just mediocre. I'm gonna give Nala an A.
I agree with that.
Next up, we got a little 2-for-1 special for you folks. We got a little bit of Anna and Elsa from Frozen. Can you turn the heat up, Sarah?
No, I can't. When they were kids, Anna and Elsa would play all the time with Elsa's frozen powers, making snowmen, i.e. Olaf.
Do you want to build a snowman?
Until the day that Elsa accidentally hurts Anna, and then their family has to go to the trolls and erase Anna's memory and then separate the two because they never want Anna to be hurt again.
Eventually, her parents are killed in a shipwreck. Elsa and Anna have to step up to become like the new heads of their country. So they have this little ball.
They crown Elsa the queen or something.
Anna, she falls in love in the 5 minutes or so. She's very extroverted and very naive, and her journey is pretty significant where she actually goes to find Elsa after she's fled to just build this little frozen castle. And Elsa's very frozen, if you will. She's just like, yo, just get away from me, everybody. I'm gonna hurt somebody again, which stems back to the it stems back to their parenting. They inevitably get back to their own kingdom where everything's frozen because Elsa's powers have been like emanating too much that she can't control it.
And Elsa and Anna are trying to find each other out in the cold, and Anna's risking her life even more now to try to get to her sister. And Anna basically ends up sacrificing herself for Elsa. Elsa loves her sister and gets unfrozen.
I think both of the sisters are extremely iconic by today's standards.
Absolutely.
I think Anna would be an S and Elsa would be like a B.
I agree with that.
Next up, we have Jane from Tarzan.
Jane meets a little baby baboon and ends up making him cry. And then the baboon family comes and chases Jane. They try to kill her. Tarzan saves her. So then Tarzan and Jane are spending all this time together. Tarzan ends up wanting to go back to London with Jane and ends up being held captive because Clayton is like, oh, now I know where the gorillas are, so I'm gonna go get them and sell them in London. Turk, Tantor end up breaking them out, and Jane does try to help. She tries to grab Clayton's gun away, but he ends up pushing her down and knocking her out.
I don't know. I mean, she's on the trees with him doing the little twisty turns at the end, right? She's
vine surfing, the vine surfing at the end. Surfing.
Yeah. You know what? I give Jane a B.
I do too.
Next up, we have Keita from Atlantis. We first see Keita in the very beginning of the movie in this prologue kind of sequence where this giant wave is encompassing the city of Atlantis. Sarah, we don't see her again until she's an adult, kind of like Nala.
Oh my god. Milo and his crew are going down into Atlantis to try to find the heart, and she ends up recruiting Milo to help her find the heart of Atlantis because she finds out that Milo and his crew are looking for it too.
Where they go and find like this crypt where like the ancient heart of Atlantis is actually stored. Rourke catches wind of this and he's like,
Milo, give over the information or I'm gonna kill her.
Rourke and his crew then escort Milo and Keita to the chamber where the heart of Atlantis is stored, and then Keita merges and becomes the heart of Atlantis like her mother did. Keita, as the heart of Atlantis, is able to summon all these stone guardians and save Atlantis again. Gosh, I'm torn between an A and a B.
I would give her an A.
Next up, we have Esmerelda from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Dame.
She's actually performing a dance at the Feast of Fools.
She ends up pulling Quasimodo onto the stage, and she tries to take his face off because she thinks it's a mask, and then everyone is all like,
Being medieval people, they're like, yo, let me throw some tomatoes and stuff. Esmeralda stops all these maniacs. She shows Quasimodo mercy in that moment when nobody else would.
And Quasimodo was asking Frollo, his pretty much adoptive father, for mercy, and he was just turning a blind eye.
Yeah.
And Esmeralda calls him out on that.
And she says this in front of everybody at the biggest event of the year. I mean, the political clout that Frollo holds, that's pretty powerful. Esmeralda is eventually captured by Frollo and his men, and she's sentenced to burn at the stake.
Because she wouldn't agree to be Frollo's mistress. She spits in his face, too.
I gotta give Esmeralda like a high A.
I agree with that.
Next up, we have Megara from Hercules. Oh, we first see Meg when she's playing the damsel in distress with this like river horse creature. Hercules overcomes it. He's just like, whoa, who is this?
We find out that Meg has already sold her soul to Hades to save a previous lover who ended up leaving her for some other girl. She starts having a little something for Hercules.
The son of Zeus, you know what I'm saying? Hades' biggest strategic move is using Megara as a pawn to take away Hercules' godlike powers for 24 hours. So when Hercules is a mere mortal, the Cyclops is left with him and he's kind of flicking him around, and then there's a little column about to fall onto Hercules, and Megara pushes him out the way and sacrifices herself again for her lover.
And she tells him, she's like, well, people do crazy things when they're in love.
She sacrifices herself. Let's give her an A. Over Nala.
Yeah.
Finally, we have Princess Vanellope from Wreck-It Ralph.
Ew.
She finds Ralph in her video game when he is going after his medal.
Vanellope mistakes his medal for a coin, so she steals it so that she can use it as an entry fee into the Sugar Rush race.
King Candy has his guards arrest her, but she flees to escape and heads to the junkyard.
And along the way, she's confronted by these bully girls of the game who tell her that she's just a glitch and she's an accident waiting to happen.
That's when Ralph rolls up and he's like, yo, what's up? What's going on?
But then King Candy ends up talking to Ralph and manipulating him, saying that they're trying to keep Vanellope from racing because of her glitch. People playing the game will think that it's broken, and then Sugar Rush will get unplugged, and then everyone's gonna die.
Because Ralph is in a state of manipulation, he goes and wrecks the new cart that he and Vanellope built together.
And he learns that if Vanellope wins the race, her glitch will be removed and she will actually be restored.
So Vanellope races against King Candy, and during the race, he reveals himself to be Turbo.
So Ralph defeats King Candy and helps Vanellope cross the finish line, winning first place, which then transforms her into a princess, and she's revealed as the true ruler of Sugar Rush.
I would give Vanellope a B.
I agree.
Let's review the list. S's, we have Anna. A's, Esmeralda, Megara, Nala, Keita. B's, Elsa. Gosh, you know what? I gotta give Elsa higher because like she's way more iconic than everyone here.
That's true.
Let's give her an A.
Yeah.
B's, Jane and Vanellope. C's, Alice, Wendy,
Ellen
Elenwe. D's, we have Maid Marian. That's our list. Let us know what princesses you agree with and which ones you disagree with.
And if we missed any that you might have put on the list. That's all the time we have for today. We will see you next time.